I remember wanting, above all, to earn my father's approval. The disappointment I carried when I failed him, when I faltered or felt pain too keenly, was something I could not contain. At 8 years old, I ran. I ran from him, from everyone. They searched for me. I left him with burdens he did not deserve, with moments of frustration and confusion. I cried in corners, whispering that I did not want this, that I could not. Sparring was never about ability, it was about the relentless pressure I placed on myself, the standards I could never soften. Watching Teofimo Lopez train now, you see the same confrontation with instinct. This is no longer a camp of flashy moments or explosive movements. It is deliberate, disciplined, and unforgiving. Every session demands endurance. Every punch, every step, is calculated. There is no hiding behind a highlight. The work is meant to be uncomfortable, long, continuous, exhausting rounds where the body protests and the mind must insist. The hardest lessons come in surrendering to loss, to failure, to the discomfort of imperfection. The change is subtle, profound. Gone are the singular, admired strikes. Instead, small punches and combinations, even when blocked, shape the fight, stealing space, limiting exits, disrupting rhythm. The footwork, painstaking in its restraint, demands patience, inching forward like persistence incarnate. Teofimo must abandon instinctive displays of power, trading them for precision, control, and the endurance of repeated, unseen labor. The knockout is no longer the measure, survival is. Each round becomes an examination of patience, self-control, and restraint. The early rounds, treated as sacred, are not about immediate victory. They are about disrupting confidence, establishing presence, and challenging composure before dominance can set in. The real test is not whether Teofimo can land a blow, it is whether he can remain steady when his methods fail to yield immediate results. The lesson is quiet but absolute. Chasing a moment is a trap. Discipline, persistence, and controlled pressure are the only avenues to lasting impact. This is a fight of mental architecture. Smaller punches, repeated actions, movement without show, these are the tools of influence in the ring. Every blocked strike carries consequence. Every step, every shuffle, subtly reshapes the space between fighters. Teofimo is learning to impose discomfort without revealing intent, to force adjustments without creating openings. It is work harder than any physical weight cut because it demands mastery over thought, over impulse, over the desire for spectacle. Even now, the mind remains limitless. The pursuit of refinement, of adaptation, is continuous, never complete. There is joy in the process, though quiet, understated, a recognition of 20 years of work, of growth, of investment in the craft. And yet, each moment in the early rounds is weighty, deliberate. The objective is not celebration but control, not brilliance but influence. The fight is not the collision of fists, but the collision of discipline and instinct, patience and impulse. The question is not who can strike, but who can endure, who can remain themselves when the plan falters, when the chaos of combat intrudes. The question is whether he can remain composed when nothing immediately works. To chase a moment is to lose it. To accept discipline, to endure confusion and messiness, to persist through stubborn repetition, that is where opportunity lies. Every command, every adjustment, every punch is deliberate, a negotiation with instinct, fatigue, and expectation. After dismantling Teofimo's camp, transforming him from a highlight seeker into a methodical, calculated fighter, Dan Rafael steps in to remind us why this fight carries weight far beyond tactics on paper. Teofimo has been a world champion in 2 divisions, holding multiple belts and defeating elite opponents. He has also faced setbacks, moments of physical limitation unseen by the public. Yet he returned. Even when he did not shine, when stakes were immediate, he locked in and performed. Big nights have a way of awakening fighters, and Teofimo has repeatedly risen when it mattered most. Shakur Stevenson's record reflects similar rigor. When pressure arrived, when critics questioned his style, he responded in the pocket, controlled, disciplined, asserting authority without spectacle. Both fighters adjust when expectations peak, neither folding. Their shared histories, from the Olympics to undercards, to stages that shape their careers, give their meeting inevitability. This is not coincidence. 2 timelines converge through preparation, experience, and consequence. The setting amplifies the stakes. Madison Square Garden rewards composure over flash, scrutiny over comfort. Here, energy, proximity, and observation magnify every choice. Teofimo began slightly heavier than Shakur, yet differences narrow in preparation. Both are Olympians, one representing the United States, the other honoring the heritage of Honduras. Their achievements are extensive. There is respect, but also the quiet tension of elite competition. Only one can impose control under relentless observation. Dan does not traffic in drama. He presents context, and context carries weight because it removes cover, leaving no room for excuses. No distant arenas, no travel fatigue, no unfamiliar crowds, just two elite fighters, minutes from home, measured where reputations endure. Styles can be debated endlessly, but the underlying question Dan poses is one of credibility. Who claims ownership of their past achievements when scrutiny is absolute? You can dismiss the fight as dull or celebrate it as explosive, but the moment the bell rings at Madison Square Garden, history records only presence, performance, and endurance. This fight belongs here, not elsewhere. The location itself, the Garden, steeped in tradition and expectation, carries its own judgment. Teofimo from Brooklyn, Shakur from the New York, New Jersey area, separated only by minutes of transit, converging in a space where every action resonates. The Garden has seen few marquee events in its main arena in recent years. Katie Taylor's third fight in Toronto was the last major contest. Since then, the stage has been quiet, waiting. This is a consequential bout. As Dan framed it, legacy intersecting with place and timing, Lonnie B shifts the lens to unpredictability rather than record. His observation is precise. Shakur moves with a perfection that allows no error, every punch concealed, every motion calculated. It is the kind of precision that magnifies the stakes, for flawless fighters are rarely afforded leniency when the unexpected arises. In contrast, Teofimo embodies volatility, a kinetic unpredictability reminiscent of Roy Jones, a force that can alter the tempo at any instant. Here, structure and chaos coexist. Both fighters are remarkable, exceptional in distinct ways. Shakur, with near-clinical control, Teofimo, with athletic improvisation that defies anticipation. Lonnie's emphasis is deliberate. The version of Teofimo that rose against Josh Taylor required no permission, no narrative framing, it simply seized the night. Teofimo adapts to his opponent, raising his level as the challenge dictates, while Shakur forces precision under pressure, demanding response or exposure. There is one subtle but critical insight often overlooked. Shakur cannot linger passively on the ropes. Allow Teofimo comfort, and he becomes a moving problem, assertive and confident, rewriting rhythm and space with each motion. The problem comes with confidence itself. This is not about fear, it is about rhythm, about control under pressure. Consider Josh Taylor. Look at what Teofimo did to him. Measured, precise, powerful, asserting dominance without restraint, shaping the night to his will. You cannot count Teofimo out. He is extraordinary, as is Shakur. Yet Shakur cannot simply remain passive on the ropes. He must be active, engaged, moving constantly, because once Teofimo finds his rhythm, he becomes a force difficult to contain. His athleticism defies predictability. There is no formula to anticipate every motion. What stands out is Lonnie's refusal to pick a winner. He calls it a coin flip, not uncertainty, but recognition that this is a battle of will disguised as skill. This is not about beauty or technical elegance. It is about the relentless determination to impose oneself when comfort disappears. Both men are elite, both exceptional, but only one will assert control when the margin narrows. Plans matter little once the bell rings. Identity, discipline, and resolve are tested in real time. Lonnie's 50-50 assessment is not hesitation, it is acknowledgement of how fine the line truly is. Yet, a fight must have a conclusion. One will win. It cannot be a draw. It is impossible to choose outright. You see Shakur, then Teofimo, then back again. Each moment presents a different potential outcome. Lonnie frames it as a coin flip war of will. Then Zab Judah enters, and the conversation changes entirely. He does not speculate. He speaks in absolutes. Teofimo cannot beat what he cannot touch. This is no trash talk. It is the observation of a veteran, a warning steeped in experience. When Zab describes Shakur, moving in and out of range with precision that seems unreal, it is not exaggeration, it is a reality of physics applied inside the ring. I hear someone who has lived in those exchanges, who understands what it feels like when punches miss by inches and confidence begins to falter. Zab is not questioning Teofimo's talent. He is questioning compatibility, how style meets style. He emphasizes that Shakur dismantles opponents, not emotionally, but structurally, systematically, move piece by piece. And that is precisely what makes him dangerous, because Teofimo thrives on rhythm and reaction. Zab also highlights Shakur's mental steadiness. He does not fluctuate from night to night, he does not arrive distracted, he does not unravel. This contrasts sharply with Teofimo's volatility. Teofimo is skilled, but under this style, he can be broken. He can be broken. You cannot beat what you cannot touch. It is a principle as absolute as it is unforgiving. Zab's analysis is not idle praise. When he speaks of the garden, he is not speaking geography, he is speaking energy. Newark, Brooklyn, New York, New Jersey, packed houses, no neutral crowd, every step charged with expectation. He even connects it to the Bud Crawford ethos. We do not do ordinary things. The camp itself operates with that intensity, daring the sport to keep pace. Zab is not predicting chaos or brawls, he predicts suffocation. Teofimo may load up relentlessly, but Shakur slips and shifts, the floor seemingly moving beneath him, leaving the offensive rhythm incomplete. And what stands out is how Zab never hedges, never compromises. He does not play the polite analyst. He says simply, dismantle. While the word may feel extreme, it reveals his confidence in Shakur's command when styles clash with such precision. Buddy McGra argues this fight must happen in the garden. It is hard to disagree. It is a garden fight, and nothing else would carry the same weight. Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. This is New Jersey meeting New York, converging in the heart of the city, every corner charged with history and expectation. You can debate power, explosiveness, or signature moments, but Zab's point is clear: moments are irrelevant if access is denied. If Teofimo cannot reach him, everything else becomes noise. Taken together, the outlines of this fight emerge. Teofimo trains to restrain and master his instincts. Shakur is built to exploit them. Each voice we hear sharpens the tension from a different angle. Dan presents legacy and timing. Lonnie frames will versus unpredictability. Zab cuts to the unforgiving arithmetic of access and control. One fighter works to manufacture chaos without losing himself. The other converts chaos into routine. This is not hype versus disdain, not boring versus spectacular. It is discipline meeting volatility under the brightest, most unforgiving lights. Each round poses the same quiet question: who remains themselves when the plan falters? That is why the outcome never feels predetermined. The fight exists in the margins, in patience, in moments that announce themselves only subtly, almost silently.